What is going on, Browns fans? Welcome back to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. Today, we are bringing you guys the Week 8 loss for your Cleveland Browns, 24-20. As you can see down at the bottom, Browns fold, lose 24-20 in Seattle. Lose late game on a walk-off touchdown. And unfortunately, where they let a game third quarter going into the fourth quarter. Lots of turnovers from both teams. Obviously, the biggest thing here to talk about and what might have swung this game in the direction that it had gone. PJ Walker, unfortunately, throwing a helmet interception late into our what was our second to final drive, and essentially giving them the field position to go and score that last touchdown. It's a tough game to lose. Sends us back to 4-3. Jeff, obviously, it looked like it was going well for the second quarter, going into the third and everything, but really just a up and down game, just like it has been for the past couple of weeks now.
Well, I don't even think I'm mad because you see so much stuff doing this that I have basically no emotions, I don't think, because of just the complete nonsense and stupidity of what the game has to come down to. And I think I'm looking around, I'm looking at stats and everything, and I think I found something that I'll, hopefully will be able to articulate my thoughts, and that is the win probability chart. So this bottom blue line is Seattle, and then once it gets into the gray, that's the Browns. This peak right here, which is past the fourth quarter designation on the chart, has us at a 78% chance to win the game. So that's pretty much what it boils down to. Data is data, stats are stats. Not going to be the truth, obviously. I think both teams played exquisitely bad.
Yeah,
actually,
yep.
We just ended up having one
last
more
mistake last.
Yeah. We just made the last mistake. That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not. Here's what I'm going to boil this down to. No matter what the situation is with Deshaun, if you continue to walk PJ Walker out there, it does not matter if he has the full week of practice down as the rep one guy. Clearly. It doesn't matter if it's DTR. These two guys are not up to these games, and you can go back now. The last three games coming out of the bye have all been one-score victories or losses. And it's not to say that, hey, PJ Walker can't get the job done, but it's to say that you could go out and you could bring a guy like Jacoby Brissett back, who we've, in Kevin Stefanski's time here as the coach, that's his best guy. And that's someone who knows the offense, knows Kevin Stefanski, and would be a lot better than what we're working with currently. And I just think that, I'm someone of the mind of, like, let's put Deshaun on IR just because I want him to be healthy. I want him to not have to have the pressure of, oh, is he going to play this week? Is he going to play this week? Is he going to be ready this week? And put him out in front of the media and all this jazz. I don't really care for it. I honestly think he needs the time to recover. Let's go out. Let's go get Brissett. I don't think it's going to cost a lot to bring him back, but you don't have to worry about these nail-biter games. I think he puts you in a lot of better positions and a lot of, leading positions than what PJ does and what we saw the one time with DTR. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Because like you said, Jeff, I'm not too upset with this loss. It's just kind of one of those things where you roll a third string guy out there. This is the kind of result that you get.
I mean, it's just honestly like too perfect. Like, they go out to a big lead and we claw back,
Yep.
And let's, the first quarter, like, I think Seattle had control of this game for like 30 to 35% of the game.
Okay.
And I think we had control.
I was going to say like 18-ish to 20
yeah,
minutes.
Maybe that's high, but I think they destroyed us in the first quarter. That's 25% as far as right off the rip. And then the last 90 seconds because of some stupid ass play. Like, okay, congratulations. Our defense was playing better. So they're not that. I mean, it's not that they're bad. Like, you still have Pete Carroll. But it's like, of course, we were having a comeback type of game on the road against an established head coach in a tough environment, games that you're not supposed to win this game. It's regardless of it could be anybody going cross country, but of course, the hopes get up and then they get destroyed. But your point being, your most recent point, Justin, which I actually think it could be the silver lining here, is that if you go and see us move for Brissett or somebody else, it's probably better we lost this game, because what if we won? Then Walker's 3-0 is in the Browns uniform when he sees the field. Yeah, they're like, okay, well, it's ugly every single week, but like, there's no need to like move assets around. But I mean, he has how many interceptions and how many fumbles? He has like 5 or 6 turnovers.
More than he has scores. Absolutely more than he has scores. 100%, 1,000%. I don't even need to look that up. He absolutely has turned the ball over, I want to say, twice as much as he's scored the ball.
At least.
It's the one thing that is taking us and destroying us, because the defense continues to, it has its moments where it doesn't look great and it doesn't look like it's going up to the first couple of weeks that it started off to, but still it finds ways to get Martin Emerson breaks on a ball and makes a great play.
They come up with we make plays, and honestly, Walker and people were kind of making plays offensively the last 2 weeks. This week they just didn't when we needed to. But you are correct. The defense is making plays. Emerson, Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles at the end of the series, right before we turn the ball over, has that huge sack. I mean, I thought that was going to be the game right there. But yeah, it's one of those things where you take that play away because the quarterback that you're rolling out there is just not good enough to, on a third, what was that? A 3rd and 3 play call, that ball went off of a helmet and bingo bango, we have a turnover. They go and score a touchdown. We have to score a touchdown. We can't even, you can't even play dink and dunk because, you have to get into the touchdown instead of a field goal range. But it's a tough one to bite. 4-3, it doesn't, you're still above 500, but the AFC is the AFC, and we're in a very tough spot, especially in the division now. If I think the Steelers jump us at this point, and the Bengals are right there neck and neck with us. I mean,
we're still going to be third, but we have the same record. We'll have the same record as Pittsburgh. We will have the same record as Cincinnati, but we have a tie.
Yeah,
which is cool, so sick. And then Baltimore's gonna, if we're not careful here in these next couple of weeks,
this is why you gotta go and make the move for Brissett now. Like,
you have to,
or someone like you gotta. And here's the thing: the reason why it's Brissett is because he's been here. He knows the playbook. I would be fine.
He's competent.
He's competent. I would be fine with the idea of bringing a Carson Wentz in, but I think it's too late in the season to bring a guy who hasn't been on the team before or ever and try to throw him into this situation, no matter how much better I think he might be than PJ Walker, even if it's not a great amount, but a certainable amount. But
and you want to win. You want to have the aspiration to win every game. That's obviously the case. But the way that the NFL has changed the AFC North schedule around, like we've talked about, Justin, it's always been heavy for the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season. Okay, the first 8 to 10 weeks of this season now is heavy, because I can tell you right now, and is us winning the division like some sort of huge long mystery long shot, 0%, 1, 2, 3, 5% chance? No, but here's what I will tell you. You got Arizona this week at home.
Yes. That's
cool. That's fine. Still a football game. You still have to play. Baltimore has Seattle in Baltimore. So, Baltimore's going to be a favorite that game. Everyone's going to have to play the games. That's noted. But you think just assume Baltimore's going to win that game. And then 2 weeks from now, we play in Baltimore November 12th. And I can personally guarantee you that if we don't go 2-0 in these next 2 games, you will have a 0% chance to win the division.
Yeah.
Zero. You're not going to have any chance, because take a look at the AFC standings right now. After this after today's game hasn't wrapped up yet for Baltimore, they're going to go to 6-2, and we're at 4-3. And I know it's all about losses, but think about it. If they win next week, I guess if you drop the Arizona game, and which would be stupid, and then you win Baltimore, you have in between the 0% and like, okay, we're still into it. But if you cannot go to four losses, and the Ravens will have 2 losses, and they'll have both divisional games over you. You are going to be talking about wild card contention week 10.
Yeah, as of right now, you probably line up as the 7th, maybe even the 8th team in the conference, which again is tough. It's tough to bite, but Jeff, like you said, the next 2 games are huge. And the point, again, I'm just going to keep bringing it back. Like you said, it might have been a good thing to lose this game and kind of lose that faith in PJ Walker, because if you go and you bring a guy into this Cardinals game, the Cardinals are not very good. Now, I say this, and Jeff and I are going to have to talk this week about the preview for next week, because I even talked to my mom about this today. I was like, we lose this game, and people are like, oh, all right, it's fine. We're playing the Cardinals next week. Well, it would be so Browns of us that Kyler Murray practices all week this past week, doesn't play this week, is probably going to practice all week next week, and plays against us and just comes out and lights it up. That would be the most Browns thing ever. But on the opposite end, it could just be you play great defense against a kid who hasn't played football in a really long time. We know how that works. But you bring in a guy like Jacoby Brissett to tune up against a Cardinals team that's not very good, so that you're not tuning him up in a game against Baltimore. Again, who knows with the whole situation with Deshaun. I feel like they're going to roll him out for this Cardinals game, just like they kind of did for the Indianapolis game. We'll see how that turns out. But, Jeff, let's kind of move around and get away from the quarterback position a little bit. What did you think of the run game being as good as it was with 3 different running backs? I mean, impressive that Jerome Ford went today.
Well, yes, it is. You got to appreciate and respect the grind, but like I see it, and I know I think this is our core disagreement as the Cleveland Pulse is play calling and Stefanski. And I see Ashton in the chat, talking about play calling. I like what else? Like we had 40 carries today. We had 40 running plays. PJ Walker throws the ball 32 times. Like I thought the play calling was fine. I thought the play calling was actually good to great a lot of the game, destroying them on screens. PJ Walker has some down the field competent throws, still getting good action as far as Amari Cooper getting flags, drawing the defense into stuff they shouldn't be doing. And when we needed to run the ball, I felt like we ran the ball. I don't think a 3rd and 3 ball goes off Jamal Adams' helmet because he jumps in the air, and it goes. It not only does that happen, but it goes up in the air, and a Seattle player catches it. Like, I don't think that's like a let's run and get on Twitter and go to the play calling. Like, that's just what happens to us. That is simply what happens to us. I thought, finally, I'm seeing Njoku's money be worth it. Finally, it took 8 weeks, whatever. I guess can't complain. If we have week 6 through week 17, good. You'll take that. It's going to be one of the better tight end seasons for a tight end. I love everything I saw from Nick Harris today.
Oh yeah.
Thought it was genius actually how we were using him for the most part, except maybe lining them up to try to be a pass catcher, but whatever. And I think maybe you'll finally get away from the stupid sweeps and everything, because they just suck. Doesn't matter who it is. If it's Goodwin, we just are not competent up front. And I don't know why you have Harrison Bryant trying to make that block, but whiffs a block. Wills didn't play very good, but I thought there were some bright spots in this offense that has PJ Walker, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, Pierre Strong. Like, Njoku's probably your best offensive player today, and Amari Cooper is still competent.
Yeah, my only issue with the jet sweeps are supposed to be like that final play for the Seahawks where you throw a quick ball out to the side and you have to make one guy miss and you either go in for a touchdown or it's a negative play. That's what those sideways plays are. It's like You take a gamble on either getting 15 yards off of a run, which we've seen maybe once out of the 10 times that we've run it this season, or however many times we've seen it, maybe twice. And the other times you watch it go for -3 yards, constantly go for -3 yards or -1 or stalemate. But that's my I wish we would stop calling those. But like you said, Jeff, I mean, everyone played really well. You couldn't ask for anything more except for your quarterback, which unfortunately, again,
one less turnover, we probably win. But take any of them, take the interceptions or the fumble.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's just like if you go back, and again, I'm gonna keep hammering the table on this one. Is you go back to the last 3 weeks, you have 2 wins, 1 loss. Everything's a 1-score game, and it's not because you're not playing good ball all around. You're 10 out of 11 players on the offensive side of the ball are constantly playing really good ball, except for your quarterback. And that's where we're being held back at, That's
Right.
really all we could talk about in terms of like, hey, why isn't the offense getting more repetition, in the pass game? Or why aren't we getting to 300 yards in the pass game or 250 consistently in the pass game? It's because the guy that we're rolling out,
we almost had
right
250. We almost had 250 today.
Right.
I mean, come on. How many rushing yards did we have?
100, 30, 40.
I'm saying, like, you actually get enough offensive output to win. And Ash, in this situation, I understand where you're coming from, but like that is just such a, and I know I'm just so sick that it has to come down to that type of situation, like a 3rd and 3, because that's a tweener play. I think anything but like between a long 2 yards and like 4.5 yards is always going to be a tweener play. But like, it's just easy to go at the play caller because that there's a handful of people in the Browns community that if we would have ran the ball there and not gotten the first down, and Seattle would have called a timeout and we would have had to punt, and then they still get a chance to go down and score, and then they go down and score, they're going to be saying, oh, Stefanski wasn't aggressive enough, should have went for the jugular. First down there pretty much wraps up the game. And I get it. I get it that at least – with a run play, you have probably a less likelihood to turn the ball over. But I mean, we saw a botch backwards pitch last week in the Colts game that was a fumble. So it's like, I think the sentiment there is that they got the ball where they got the ball. If we would have if that play would have just been batted down, we're punting the ball to them. And if it's a good punt, they have to go 90 yards. If it's an average punt, they have to go 75 yards. But they still had the still had the field goal option. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think if you're up here, but that's the whole difference. I think if you're up 4 there, I think he probably runs it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we weren't though, but that's the problem. I mean, my thing is, I sit there with Ashton and I say the reason why you run the ball on 3rd and 2 is because they have 2 timeouts. They need to go the length of the football field if we punt it and we don't pick up on 3rd and 2. Right. You've had Kareem Hunt, he's just the bulldog in terms of getting you those yards. You put Nick Harris back there again. You run it. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. You run clock. You waste the timeout. Field position, like you said.
But no, we weren't though. That was the 2-minute warning. That's what really screwed us too. It was 2:02 on the clock when we ran that play.
You're
so
right.
The clock was stopping anyway.
Yeah.
If that would have been post 2-minute warning, I think he's running the ball. If we would have been up 4, I think he's running the ball. But it's like that. I'm always going to be processes over outcomes. Like if that slant works, it's game over. Like you're talking about an average. And let's say an average to a slightly above average conversion, slant for 4 yards wins you the game. If it hits his helmet, goes up in the air and they catch it and they go down to win.
It's the same process as last week with the Colts in the last touchdown, where you throw the ball 3 times. Why? Because situationally, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, you had to.
But on 4th down, you run the ball because hey, even though situation calls for you to probably pass it.
Right.
We're a better running team than we are a passing team, and that's
the situation just changed. I mean, because the only opportunity we had last week was to run the ball on 1st down, because you only get one opportunity to stop the clock.
This is again, I'm not mad at anyone. I'm not even really mad at PJ Walker. It's just like I know what he is.
Right.
It's disappointment that we know what he is. We've walked him out there 3 times. I don't want to say he's gotten lucky, but I want to say that he's been a product of the people around him, the team around him.
For sure.
Unfortunately, we're at the point of the season where the teams around us in the AFC are playing too well to continue to be like, all right, we're gonna wait hands on feet for Watson to come back. We don't know what his situation really is. You might as well just go out and get the proven commodity of a guy like Brissett and just be like, listen, Watson, come back at the end of the season when we play like a Jets team and a bad Green Bay team or something like that. Maybe not Green Bay's in the schedule, but I know there's two of those teams towards the end of the schedule that aren't great teams.
I mean, you see Arizona. You see Arizona this week, like.
Yeah, I just hope that if Watson's ready to play, then
expect Watson to not be ready to play.
I don't know. It's tough.
Expect him to honestly be like, I don't know. Expect him to be out the whole year, and that's all I gotta say at this point. But I don't know though, because you would have put him on IR if you were going to put him on IR. He's not. Right. He's not. If he goes on IR now, it's like what the hell? Because you would have wanted this to be one of the games for him to be on IR. So try to get him ready for the Arizona game. Because
get him ready for the Arizona.
So his first game back is in Baltimore. Because here's my thing, Justin. I think that's the plan, but I can't do any thing official with this team. I can't even speculate because it hurts my head, and I just don't. They won't. They won't ever give us the time of day as fans, and that's fine. Paying customers, whatever. It doesn't. It's fine. But it's like if you don't play him this week, he definitely should not play against Baltimore, and that's 3 games. So then you should have just put him on IR. So they still have an opportunity to mess this up. We know that.
The only problem with that is like even if he doesn't play against Arizona, and you tell me. Going into Arizona, knowing that he's not going to play against Arizona, but he'll be ready for Baltimore.
No.
I would tell you, yeah, roll him out because I can't stand. There's no way I'm walking into a divisional game with PJ Walker as my quarterback. It's the same thing as walking in there with DTR with no prep.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like he's playing this week, or the situation is messed up as it is continually gets worse because you have Arizona, you have Baltimore, and then
the Steelers.
You have the Steelers. So I mean, those are the 4 games to kind of he's definitely. I mean, come on, we know that he was rattled in Pittsburgh. We know that for a fact, and I get it. You know what? That was earlier in the year, but it's just like, all right, whatever. He's not. Oh, we're just at such an uphill battle. Like that's why I can't even. I can't even get like upset about losing games like we've talked about, like losing this game, because we are literally running PJ Walker out there, 2nd and 3rd string running backs, Kareem Hunt, who we got off his couch. And that's pretty much it. Sure, the defense has elite personnel, but like, all right, Watson plays this week. Now what? Now my whole aura and mindset and watching the game the whole week is like, well, let's just hope he doesn't suck.
If he doesn't start off well, then it's like,
oh yeah.
It's like it's immediately it's pandemonium if he doesn't, like if we go 3 and out.
Oh
people are just like, oh, all right, just you might as well bring in PJ Walker. That's how people act.
I mean, how much more sideways does the situation get? And I think that has kind of removed me from this loss, because it's like, I mean, the loss really isn't the issue. Like you want to win that game because of all the underlying issues, not because you wanted to lose, because you have a player who's injured on a big contract, guaranteed money. Questions, this and that. We never get a straight story. And now you have to worry about him coming back and playing well. And you have to worry about him coming back and taking one hit, getting pile driven onto his shoulder. And we're back to square one. So that's a 2-sided conversation already. He hasn't even been on the field.
Yeah, no, we're just in a tough position after this loss. I don't think it's a bad one. I just think that it's tough and like, what do you do realistically?
We talked about losing to Seattle. All right. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but we just do it the most just mind-boggling ways where I just want to like
the most Browns way.
The most rage-inducing stuff.
Helmet interceptions. You gotta hate it.
Not even that it hit the helmet, but it goes up in the air.
Dude,
and I'm like, the camera couldn't even.
Hurst legitimately played coverage and got an interception, and we're not going to be able to talk about that in celebration because we lost.
No,
it's the greatest thing.
That was our play, but at least that was a skillful play.
Yeah, it was a skill.
I can give respect to skill, and then caught it.
Oh my Lord, that was easily one of my favorite plays to watch as a big guy. Just can you imagine?
Nick Harris in the end zone too. This was a great game for you. Nick Harris calling for the ball in the end zone. Put your hand down, bro.
Man, you get to open first, big guy.
He's literally standing there. He's literally bumping into Njoku. Njoku's looking at the ref like, where's the flag? Nick Harris. Oh my
His own
gosh.
guy. Well, guys, if you all made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. Please make sure you are liking and subscribing, hitting the bell notification. Let us know in the comments what the biggest blunder of this game was. Was the PJ Walker turnovers? I mean, it really was just the PJ. Well, I mean, I don't know what else.
That's it.
Maybe questionable defensive play calling at the end there. Maybe, but let us know what you guys are thinking. Let us know what you're thinking going into this Arizona game. What you think Watson's going to be doing, if he's going to be on the bench again, or if he's going to be suiting up. Hopefully, it's a second one, or maybe we trade for Jacoby Brissett. Who knows? But with that all being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.